here is singer-songwriter, broadcaster, audio-video artist, entertainment agent, and your host for the dHarmic evolution. It's the master storyteller himself, James Kevin O'Connor.
And welcome back once again to the dHarmic evolution, the podcast that just rages around the world. And today we have an alumni visiting us who was here about almost 3 years ago on DE49, his first show. So he is back. He's got a new record, and it's called High Road. So we're celebrating that today, and you're going to hear how this gentleman explains that some periods of depression experienced as a teenager led to composing original music, stating that music saved him from being another statistic that seems to be in the air these days with the advent of my Depression Fighters Manual. So I want you guys all to step up. We're going to welcome Pangea, recording artist. You better strap up your seatbelts because we're taking a ride today in the city of brotherly love on the dHarmic evolution with singer-songwriter Jordan White. Today on the dHarmic evolution, welcome Jordan.
How's it going?
It's going great, man. It's good to see you back and hearing that you've got more new music. And it's funny. It's been like almost 3 years since you and I got together the first time, and it took almost 200 shows before I started having repeat guests. So I guess the 3-year mark was the way to do it. And I'm so happy to have a fellow New Jerseyan / Philadelphian, I guess, right? Because you kind of straddle the Delaware there, right?
Yeah. I've been all over Jersey, Philly, Lehigh Valley. Yeah.
Awesome. It's good to see what you're doing, and congratulations on the new EP that you're out with now.
Oh,
and,
thanks.
Yeah, so really, really great. Called High Road, right?
Yep.
So can you give us a couple of liner notes on this as to what was the reason for writing High Road, and what were you thinking about during this period of time when you started working on this project?
It was, it's like a period of musical change, I would say. Like it's a transitional period. It was a transitional period in my life. So the fact that it just happened to be in the studio at the time, so I got a lot of that type of feeling in the music and in the sound, and especially in the lyrics itself. It was, my life completely changed from like 2015 to 2018. And while in the middle, we were in the studio, and I just got lucky, sort of.
So when you say your life completely changed, like in what way? It sounds like not just musically, but other things happen, like
like relationships that were long time running, puttered out. I had to move a couple times, stuff like that, like the normal like troubled personality type things that go on with people like me.
Right.
And it just happened that I was in the studio at the time, and we got some stuff down.
So you took these experiences and it immediately turned into kind of a roadmap of your life.
Yeah, kind of for the time. Yeah, it was like a little guide map. Yeah.
Yeah, and I also noticed that your sound changed a little bit it's a little bit more acoustic laden now than the first go around, which folks, you can check out. That's DE49, the first show that Jordan was on, which has some slamming music, Amy, and a bunch of other really good cuts. But you seem like you transitioned into something like totally different on this one. Just taking, I hear the acoustic a little bit more prevalent in this than.
Right. Yeah. So when we went to the studio, it was recorded in Massapequa, New York. The guy Jim Anazito, who was the producer, had these amazing acoustic guitars, and I said it would be criminal not to put these guitars on this record because I don't have guitars this good. I have $2,000 guitars. These guitars were 6 times that in value, and they sounded so amazing. So we had to. I said to the guys, I said we have to put this in. Have to use these, and we did for most of the tracks. Yeah.
Well, let's not delay another second. This is called High Road with Jordan White.
took the highway, but I took the high road, and you left me nowhere left to go. I had nowhere left to go. Well, I punched my fist right through that glass, and you know it doesn't matter when your future, it all becomes your past. And I tried so hard not to give on in, but you gave on me, and I know I just can't lose, but I still can't win. 'Cause you took the highway, and I took the high road. You left me nowhere left to go. I had nowhere left to go. I had nowhere left to go. So stay awake for me this time, 'cause I feel you falling oh so fast. Memories hang me up, and I'm frozen in the past. Write yourself a letter just to tell yourself goodbye, 'cause all that's left of me is empty circles of my eyes. 'Cause you took the highway, but I took the high road. You left me nowhere left to go. I had nowhere left to go. I had nowhere left to go. Ooh, I had nowhere left to go. Nowhere left to go. I had nowhere left to go.
All right, High Road. What a song. Really, really great. I loved it from the opening tones. Really caught my ear when I was listening to this this morning.
Cool.
So tell us about, the process of working with this producer with and in the studio in New York City, in Long Island it was, right? Massapequa.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So Jim, did you like learn a lot from him? Was it kind of a, go to school thing? Because you always learn from every producer, right?
Yeah. I mean, and he's got the big prize, he's got the Grammy. So you really do you kind of have to really listen to what he says, because usually it's right. He'll say, do this at the end of the song, or don't do this in this part, or switch this. And you might doubt it at first, but then it comes into that, yeah, he was right when you listen to the final product. So you just got to learn to go with the experts sometimes.
Jim Annunziato. Nice, man. How'd you get introduced to him? How did you guys hook up?
That was through mostly through the manager, Kelly, and another guy from a band called Autumn to Ashes. His name was Scott Gross. He's a guitar player in Pennsylvania, and he knew him as well. And they have been corroborating for quite a while. And they said, why don't you bring Jordan in and see what you guys can do? And so I went there for about 2 weeks, and we did the album there.
Kelly Joe Farner, thank you for hooking this up for us, getting Jordan in here. Yeah, that was great. Tell me, so you've got some interesting education behind you too, which I really didn't realize. So you've got a Master's of Science, you got an Associate Arts, you got a Bachelor Arts. So you spent some time, and the thing that really caught my eye was psychological science.
Yeah.
So tell me how this education has impacted you as far as being a singer-songwriter, and in what ways?
The thing I started to learn was, the more I learned about the field of psychology, the better my songs got in terms of realism, detail, and lyrical content in those terms. So I kept going to school because music really wasn't happening for me at that time. So I said, okay, I had my associates. Now I'll get my bachelor's. I was still waiting around for music to take off. And then I was like, okay, so I'll get my master's. And so now
Right.
that's not the greatest pitch for college or anything. But I had a great time. But what I learned is that field specifically, for some reason, I don't know why, allows me to become a better writer, which you would think it would be English or something like reading books. But it seemed to me the more you learn about your own brain and the way it focused or the way it processed things, kind of bled into the lyrical material. And I started noticing that back when the first real song I thought was any good was in college and during class when I was supposed to be paying attention. And it was a psychology class. And I just kept going. Yeah.
Good for you. I mean, that took a lot to keep, to hang in there, because a lot of people just walk,
Yeah.
and it's kind of it can be a knee-jerk reaction, and like you throw in the towel too soon, and if you just waited a little bit longer, and thankfully you persevered through it, which is awesome, that you were able to do that. Also, I want to just backtrack a little bit. You were born in Cranford, New Jersey, and then you moved to Pennsylvania. Was that, and at the age of 12, now that's a difficult age. Was that transition for you difficult at that time?
Yeah, I do remember dreading the first day of school and at the new school. Like I dreaded it all summer because we moved like in May or June after the school year ended, late June. Yeah, and it's a tough age to move around and walk into a classroom, nobody knows you.
Right.
You worry all day where you're going to sit at the lunch table.
Yeah. Right.
These are problems I wish I still had instead of the ones I have now. That's what's so funny about it, is looking back now how I'm sure you may have gone through the same thing when you were 12.
Yeah, I had the same thing. 3 different schools in 3 different years. So it's like, oh no, I gotta go through this again.
Yeah, yeah. The lunchroom thing it's almost done like to humiliate some kids. I think because they should almost look like assigned seating or something. I don't know.
It's a very tough scene. You walk in and you feel like everybody is looking at you, and not because you're going to be popular, man.
And if you make the wrong choice of where to stand or where to sit.
Yeah, I did that once when I was in 7th grade, and it was like, I went from this parochial school to this really tough junior high, and I remember walking in the classroom, and there was only like one seat. And I sat next to these two in the middle between these two tough guys. And the one guy's going the whole time. He's like, "Hey, kid, I told you there's no vacancy here." And I had already sat down. Like, what was I going to do? Like, melt into the ground? I didn't know one person in the school. So I feel your pain on that. That was crazy.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, let me ask you, what is that squeaking sound that I hear? Is that a dog, or I think it just stopped?
Probably one of the dogs, yeah.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, are you going to invite him in, or is he going to just stay out in the hall there?
I don't think I think they're downstairs.
Okay. So you also had mentioned that you had some periods of depression as a teenager, which kind of like led you to music. Right. And when did you realize that, that was, you knew something was bothering you, but you probably didn't know it was a label, depression, but you just felt like horrible. So like, when did this first like occur to you that you were suffering from this?
Probably about age 15, I would say.
Yeah.
And that was for a lot of reasons. Like we just mentioned, that was after the move. And things were not so great at home. Things were not so great for me at the school I was at. I was having trouble with a lot of the classes, especially the math classes. I always did really well in the English classes, but the math classes, forget. So things just kind of started to pile up, and I didn't really know how to deal with them. I had no clue what it was. I actually thought it was normal. I thought I was just normal. Like that's how everyone was. And I think to a certain point, a little bit but not to the level that I was.
Yeah.
Not everybody's gonna have the best day every day. And I didn't have any guidance in that field. Like nobody sat me down and said, "Hey, what's wrong?" That kind of. It was just. It was ignored. Like I felt I was ignored most of my life.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain.
No, I hear you, man. I went through the same thing. So, and at the same age. So, as a matter of fact, I just put out a depression fighters book. It's a free download, and it has 7 strategies on there. So, for you folks who want to pick that up, it's a free download, and it's just a little toolbox. You can even keep it in your phone. It takes like 15 minutes to read, but each day of the week, there's a different strategy you can use to combat depression, because a lot of people have been in this, and I didn't really realize, because I was in the same camp that you were in, to said, you just isn't everybody like this? And it's not, there's a lot of people who just feel joy every day. And a lot of it is maybe your circumstances that you grew up in and your experiences with school, with the lunchroom, with the whole combination of things. Mm-hmm. And like you said, if you don't have resources, it's like, what am I supposed to do with this? This is just a crazy thing, So, so how are you feeling now? Are you still struggling, or are you feeling better now?
I'll tell you the truth. I have my days, but I'm overall better than much better than I was then.
Yeah.
Just that the fact that I get to play music and stuff, and do that for a living. That's like a rare thing. So I could try to keep it in perspective. That some people have to, do whatever they got to do for a job and they hate it.
Yeah.
And right. I love it. And so I can't sit here and complain, about my life. I mean, it'd be so ridiculous. But a lot of those guys do, they complain about the paparazzi following them around and stuff. But I'll tell you, anybody who gets into this business and is shooting for the gold ring, so to speak, they know that's a part of it. They're full of it. They're full of it if they're pretending that they didn't see it coming, or didn't want it, or don't want it,
Right.
So that's the way I look at it. Like I'm kind of have like this very blessed life right now. So I can't relate to any other kind of suffering because of that, because it's so much of what so much of what makes someone a person is what they do. And that includes employment, and I get to play music, and not that many people get to do that.
Yeah. I think 2 of God's greatest gifts are love and music. So
good. I like that.
If you get a chance to have both, which
I only have one usually.
Yeah. Well, you're doing it right. So let's do another one, Jordan. Let's do Like the Rain.
Took a billion heartbeats to get my picture in your frame. You can hang it on the wall, you could just let it fall, 'cause it all stays the same. I'm standing in your garden, what have I done to you? You could keep it inside, you could just run and hide, 'cause there's nothing new. 'Cause that girl's like the rain, and a bit of thunder too. 'Cause it all stays the same when you act like you do. Another 1,000 heartbeats to get my picture off your wall. You could keep it inside, you can just run and hide. Did you pull from your stall? I'm standing in your garden, what have I done to you? You could keep me inside, or you could just run and hide. Did you pull from your stall? 'Cause that girl's like the rain with a bit of thunder too. 'Cause it all stays the same when you look like you do. I drove down the turnpike and regrets they're nothing new. I could say that I'm sorry, I could say not to worry, but they just won't do. 'Cause that girl's like the rain with a bit of lightning too. 'Cause it all stays the same when you act like you do.
Yeah, Like the Rain, and you were playing blues harp on that, were you? Was that you
Yeah,
playing?
it was me. And it was actually the first time I ever played harmonica in the studio, and I'd only gotten the harmonica about a week before. So it's not. I play it a lot better now than it sounds there, but it's at the time nobody knew how to play it but me, so I did what I could.
So you felt it and you knew that was the thing, and that's
Yeah.
another dimension you can add now, or you have added, and have you done that on your live set with the
Oh yeah.
brace? Yeah, yeah, that's
Mhm.
that's
I have
awesome.
the brace,
Yeah.
and it goes behind your neck and everything. Yeah.
I did that so many years ago, and I knew all the Dylan tunes and all the Neil Young or whatever. But great ancillary piece, especially if you're playing out solo. It just adds another piece to the pie. For people to
Right.
embrace.
A
So
lot of times they'll say, "How do you do that?" They're like, "How?" I'm like, "What?" They're like, "How do you play the guitar, do the harmonica, and sing a song at the same time, and have your foot going?" I'm
yeah,
like, I have no clue. And I'm like, it's the
yeah.
rub your belly, pat your head thing.
It's like John Lennon said, "I'm a musician. I can do anything. Give me
Yeah.
something and I'll play it." So, Like the Rain, tell us about the song itself. Like, what is that all about? Like, why did what does that mean to you? Like writing that song, what was that all about?
Like the rain was, it came from somebody said something in passing, and they didn't realize how profound it was, and I stole it and I used it for a song. They said something like, "Oh, don't bother with her. She's like a thunderstorm or something." And
Nice.
I was like, you know what? I think I might, you might have something there. And they're like, "Ah, get out of here." And so I kind of wrote it about this person that had when you say someone's like the rain, it's is what happens with the rain. It comes and it goes. So it's something that someone who's always up or really down, maybe bipolar. I don't know, maybe not. I have no idea if she was or not. Very very nice person, very very lovely girl. But things didn't work out, and I used that little sentence I overheard, and I basically built a song on top of it. Um, it's very sordid in a few places, but it's really about a person that just is either really high or really low all the time.
Yeah.
And they're like the rain. There's nothing you can do. It comes down, and you see it coming, and it leaves its. If it's a bad one, it leaves trees down.
Right.
And you think of it, metaphorically like that. That's kind of what I was going for with that one.
That was excellent. And I like the move of stealing the conversation. I do that too. And I learned this at a music conference about 10 or 15 years ago. And I forget who it was up there, but he'd written like, every hit song known to man for his period. And he said he loves to eavesdrop. And, and it's so funny when you start doing that, it's like I keep my little black books with me everywhere, and I'll go in and I'll have a sandwich, at night or something. I'll be sitting around and you hear people say the most profound things, the most outrageous, and they have no idea that it just in a flood of storytelling, what just came out.
Yeah,
that one little
happens all the
piece.
time.
And it's like, that was awesome. And I'm scratching it down all the time. Happens on the show a lot too. And I always throw it back to the guest and say, that's your next song title, what you just said there, and it's kind of cool. But that's great because again, music seems to be our greatest therapist for everything going on with us, and you and I seem to have a lot of similarities, and it's just like when you finish a new song, it's that feeling of elation, and you're just so happy about.
Oh yeah,
wow,
yeah,
this is great, man! It's like winning the lottery,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you could go out to dinner and you feel fine, and stuff like that. It's a liberating thing because you finally figured out this piece of you and you got it into sound.
Yeah.
Which is, when you think about it, it's a really weird thing. I mean, it's just the thought of like opening your mouth and making a sound come out. It's when you really start to minimalize things, they start to sound really strange.
Yeah.
But it's just a complex whole big thing, all of it. But
and then combined with the poetry of it too is beautiful. It's like when you married the two together, it's pretty amazing. Hey, tell me about the gigging. How are things going with you, and like where are you playing these days? Are you playing regionally? Are you touring around? Or are you just writing now? Like what have you been doing with your time?
I'm definitely writing. Excuse me. I've been writing a lot since the last few weeks. Some other things have inspired me recently, and a lot of gigging too, of course. Usually 2 to 3 to 4 a week.
Yeah,
usually
great.
Like this, for example, this weekend I have 3 or 4. I don't even know. I have to look.
Right.
But this is kind of the busy time of year for a lot of outdoor shows. And stuff like
festivals. That. You doing any of those this year?
Yeah, festivals, concerts, stuff like that. Yeah.
Right. Great. Where do you find it is the best place for you? Is it more Philly or is it more Jersey? Like when you're staying regionally local?
That's a good question. It both have their ups and downs. I guess I would say around here more, at least if you're going to talk about like head count, like that comes out.
Yeah.
But sometimes out there, I do have a lot of family out there, big Italian family.
Right.
So they'll come out too. So it
you
really
go for the food, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to. So tell me about with your gigging. How do you do like a schedule at the beginning of each year and like block it all out like way in advance, or do you just kind of run with it as the gigs come up? Like how does your schedule work? Are you real strategic about it, or do you just kind of roll with things?
It's more on the roll with it side. I mean, if someone occasionally a place will want to book you for an entire year, the year before,
right,
and then I just have those dates blocked off, and then as time goes on, the other ones become filled, and the place you played earlier wants another date in 2 months, that kind of thing.
Right,
and it generally just starts to come together to make a to make a full schedule, which is usually about 3 shows a week every week. Except for Christmas, depending what day Christmas falls into.
How do you handle the late nights? Are you good with that? Are you a night owl, or you? You are. Okay.
Like this is actually early for me.
This was murder for you to get up.
Like a little bit. I mean,
11 o'clock is early for musicians.
It's what? It's weird. It's because we did so much, even in the studio, we did so much at night, like at 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning. And we don't know why. Like we go to dinner, we would have a session, go to dinner, and then go back to the studio and say, okay, let's do a few things and go home. It ended up being like 4 more hours,
Yeah.
Suddenly it's 1:30 and you're supposed to be back at 10 the next day. And everybody's like, all right, let's make it 12. Let's make it 12 tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm definitely a night person, not by choice, just by habit, just kind of happened.
Yeah. It's so funny because you just don't know about, like, time is such an elusive element of creativity, because the first time I ever experienced that, I was pretty young, and I was in LA, and I was at Bijou Studios in Hollywood with a producer and a whole team. And we did the first session I think we did was 24 hours straight. And it was like, for me, I was just like, it didn't feel like that. It was just like, I was rolling with it. And then the next day you felt it, and we did a reduced session. And then we came in one more time to wrap it up. It was a 4-song EP, in and out. But that was kind of amazing, to be like, because I was so pumped. I just had energy the whole time. I didn't really fall apart. They were falling asleep at the end. I was still kind of going strong, but it just feels like time is just like it has no significance. It's like you're creating and you're just locked down in that world of creativity. I just love it. Let's do this other one that's called Coming Round Again. Here we go with Jordan.
Slow down this tune, I'm about to overflow. The melody dissipates, but the music, it's all I know. There's a look of stars at night, when you know that they shine bright, and they make you come alive. And this is what we call your life. So if you're coming round again, I won't break, but I might bend. You feel the darkness closing in, it fits just like a second skin. There's a look upon your face, you know we just can't replace, but I think we let it go to waste. And now I feel this empty space. So if you're coming round again, I won't break, but I might bend. You feel the darkness closing in, it fits me like a second skin. Easy come and easy go, but it gets cold here in the snow. And ring, ring, there's no one home, but we both know you're not alone. Are you alone? Driving on right by and there's no one home. Yeah, there's no one home. So if you're coming round again, I won't break, but I might bend. You feel the darkness closing in, it fits me like a second skin. Easy come and easy go, but it gets cold here in the snow. And ring, ring, there's no one home, but we both know. Yeah, we know, we know, we know you're not alone.
Coming Round Again. Really, really good song. Another good one by Jordan. Man, you write really good songs. I mean, the first time I heard you, I immediately liked what you were doing and your approach to music. And I hear I hear a little bit of like Beatlesque. I hear a little bit of everything good, like almost like you've adopted all of the really great classic rock music and put it into your own thing. Like I think your style is unique and your voice is unique. But you seem to have a quality of writing songs that express themselves in a way that's, it's just a really listener-friendly environment. Tell us about your experiences growing up, like who you were listening to most of the time. Was it very eclectic for you, or like what?
Yeah, kind of like I have my dad to thank for a lot of it because he sat me down and introduced me to like Van Morrison and the Clash and things like that. Um, Things that I probably otherwise would not have come across because being in eighth grade, we were listening to Guns N' Roses, Nirvana, which I still love too. But
Yeah.
I may have been limited to those things. It wasn't
Right.
like Al Green, he was really into and stuff like that. The Allman Brothers Band, things like that. Guys, a lot of these 70s singers, 1970s singer-songwriter types. And I don't know if I would have really would have picked those up if it wasn't for him, saying, listen to this.
Yeah.
He'd hear me playing my Guns N' Roses. He's like, yeah, I'll come down and listen to this instead. I'm like, okay, I'll try it. And I started to like it after a while.
So he brought you into the Guns N' Roses world.
Yeah.
Cool. Your father has good taste.
Yeah.
I mean, they were a slamming band. There's no doubt about it.
Oh,
The
yeah.
quality of what those guys were doing, it was very, very cool. And I love that when I have somebody on and their parents were just influential about, bringing their world of music. I did the same thing with my son. Like he had all my my early English rock albums. I just said, here, you just start listening to him. And he just fell in love with all that stuff. So the cool thing was when he was, I think he was like in ninth grade or something, I took him and three buddies to a Yes concert and they flipped out. They couldn't
Really?
believe like
Wow.
how these guys could play. It was just unbelievable. So what do you like to listen to now when you're chilling out and you're just like saying, I want to take some time for myself and I'm not really writing or anything like that, but just for musical enjoyment, where do you find yourself in which camp, which wheelhouse are you in these days?
I recently got into, this is going to sound ridiculous considering we're both from New Jersey. I recently got into Springsteen.
Uh-huh.
Now, and I know I'm way, way late on the train, but there were songs that I didn't know. The ones, well, let me put it this way. The songs of his they put out on the radio weren't necessarily reflective of his other deeper tracks,
Yeah.
which is usually the case. And I found a lot of really good songs that I never heard of from him on YouTube and stuff. And I've been on that kick lately, just listening to those. So that's the newest thing for me, and that's really sad that I say Springsteen is the newest thing for me. 'Cause
Well,
it's
no, not really, because when you're such an enormous he's an enormous pop star or rock star, however you put it, but
Yeah.
his early works, his first 2 or 3 albums were not reflect. I would say his first, like Born to Run, was the big, when that came out, that was kind of like made his mark and everything. But the first 2 records were phenomenally good. I mean,
Right.
they were just amazing, and I played those things to death when I first discovered him. But I know what you're saying. There's artists out there that early in their career, you can kind of tell that they were not really interested in the big stardom, and I don't think the real artist really ever has any idea that that's going to happen to them. I think they're most happy in their creative world. And of course, everybody wants to make a living. I'm not saying that they're discounting. Hey, don't give me money. Yeah, we all need to eat and pay our bills. But I think purely artistically, you go for it for the art's sake, And then when you have enormous, monetary success, that's kind of like an extra gift along the way.
Mm-hmm.
And, but I think your crowd, I think the crowds and the fans end up helping to formulate where you go with your music, and it happens kind of without you even like having an enormous control over it. You know what I mean? Because all those bigger places you're playing, and you're feeling different influences, and all these things are coming into your bloodstream and saying, well, I'm thinking about this, and this now, so I'm writing for a bigger mass, just by way of, it just has to happen that way. But that's pretty cool that you went back and started listening to his early stuff. Like what else do you listen to? What else is going on with you?
I like the new Counting Crows album. I've always liked those guys though.
Yeah.
Musical. I like the new Third Eye Blind album. That's pretty good.
I can't tell the poster behind you. So.
Yeah. That's right. I got there's like so many music out front of album cover posters in this room. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
looking at 10 different ones past me. But the song that got me from Springsteen was that song "Dancing in the Dark." Now I first with the synthesizer, I thought that was like an upbeat song, and I really looked into the lyrics, and it's a really dark song. Yeah. And that's what I think is so cool about that the way he did that was he hid the lyrics underneath that bright synthesizer, and that's what got me into him listening to other. I was like, all right, if he's that good at this, let me listen to this other stuff. So yeah,
he's quite the prolific writer. There's a guy who was on this show. I'll circle back to this, but he came on. His name is Matt O'Ree. Have you heard of Matt? He's from the Shore area.
Is it
Oree?
I might have. I'm not sure. It sounds slightly familiar, but I wouldn't say I do for sure.
Well, I'll just give you the quick story on that. He was on the show, and he actually he won like the guitar. Guitar Center had this competition, and they put it out there, and there was over 4,000 guys that went to be a part of this thing, and he won it. And while he's out in Chicago, winning the money and the prize and the cash and everything, he gets a call from Patty Scalfa Springsteen saying, "Hey, we'd like you to teach our son guitar because he teaches guitar." And so we're saying this is crazy. I won the guitar thing, and now Bruce's wife is calling me to say, "Hey, we want you to teach our son how to do this, how to play guitar." And it's a whole cool story. But what the long and short of it was that after he became connected to Bruce's son and teaching him guitar, he asked him for some music. So he shared a song with him. Long story short, Bruce ended up going into the studio with Matt on Matt's song and playing guitar and singing. Wow. Like they split the verses, and it's a killer song. I'm going to find it here, and I'll circle back to it. But it's a tremendous story how he tells it and I'll put the link in since this relates to what we're talking about. I'll put it in your show with all your links, and I'll just reference the Bruce story.
That is it almost seems like it could be a movie. I mean,
it was incredible. And by the way, Matt has toured with Bon Jovi. He's that good. He's just incredible. Yeah. Phil and Richie's shoes is that's a big task. But yeah, he's done that. So I think he's toured with him a couple times actually. So he's starting to get some traction on his career now too, which I'm very happy about. But he was on a few years ago, a few months ago actually. But anyway, let's go to another one here, and this is called September. You want to set this up for us, Jordan? And let us know what September's all about.
This song I actually wrote when I was 19, which was a long time ago. And we decided, I kind of rediscovered it then while we were in the studio because we needed another track. I had another song called Days with Diamonds that we just couldn't get it together. We were screwing around with the song in dumb ways and fooling around with it, becoming too experimental, I think. So I said, okay, we decided we're going to stop on this one and I said, let me just play you this song. And if you like this one, we'll do this one instead. So I went through it and they're like, yeah, I could do this. I could do that. I think we could do work with that one. It was a lot easier. It came right away because all the lyrics were written, whereas opposed to a lot of these other songs, some of the lyrics weren't written until day of the studio. Like I had to really come up with stuff. So the lyrics were already written many years ago. And so was the music. So it was just a matter of playing it and getting the other guys to get their parts right. And it's really about things, the inevitability of things changing or ending, as September is, the transitional month between summer and fall. It's just September kind of symbolizes for me that, the summertime of our lives won't last every time, all the time. And there's only so many of them anyway. So
yeah,
that's
all right.
Kind of what that's about.
Let's fire it up. Here we go. September.
'cause no one knows the distance sitting in the stale air. Watching time fall with the sky, it's got me thinking I'm so far from you, and there's no way of getting back to feel you. And the mystery and misery returns, just like seeing you around this cold night. Burns, oh it burns. Alone and in your room, and September's coming soon. 'Cause there was a time, there was a great time, but I don't know where it goes. I'd like to say, but I just don't know. Still there I was breathing, oh yeah, I'm slipping into you. Still I can feel myself, I'm slipping into you. As something speaks in my ear, it's whispering, you threw away a year. And alone and in your room, and September's coming soon. Wasted paragraphs and all the words that you would say, 'cause I am so far from you, a little farther every day. But something speaks in my ear, it's whispering, you threw away a year. Alone and in your room, September, oh September, it's coming soon. But I cannot decide how far to go, how far there is, 'cause no one knows. Decide how far to go, how far there is, 'cause no one knows. 'Cause no one knows. No one knows. Yeah, no one knows. No one knows. No one knows. No one knows.
Yeah, good song, man. That was really, really good. September, I like that one a lot. And I just like the fact that you have such a handle on how to do these. It's just really, really awesome, really awesome.
Thanks, man.
So, what's your favorite method for writing, Jordan? Like, what do you have like a system? Do you have a scheduled time, or do you just feel inspiration and say, "Boom, I'm going for this because I feel like, I feel like writing. I feel like something popped into my head, and I have an epiphany about something."
Yeah, the times when I become most inspired is anytime I'm somewhere else that I've never been, and I'm actually there for a longer period of time than an hour. So especially like vacations, going down the shore, stuff like that. A lot of the things in the songs that are mentioned, the guy sings about the ocean and stuff. That's a huge thing, and I never really figured that out why. And then someone told me just because you're in a new place and you're thinking differently, I guess. And as far as a schedule, not really. Although I do sometimes plan to, practice on something at a certain time, later that day. Do I do it always? Not always, but usually. And as far as in general, if I'm not on vacation or whatever or somewhere, it usually starts with a lyric, like a lyric that means something, that isn't just, saying I miss you or something,
Right.
because that's so easy to say now, and it's been said so many times. You got to find a new way to say I miss you, or
Right.
I care about you, or this is messed up, or that's messed up. So it's about the filters, and it's kind of like a coffee thing, put it together, and whatever filters down is the good stuff, at least for me. I know a lot of other people write the music first and then kind of hum along to it. So it really depends on everyone's individual approach.
Do you
But
ever?
I'm sorry.
No. Do you ever get to where you just have this great idea for a title and you roll with it that
Yeah.
way?
Yeah, I do. I actually have a lot of those. I have probably 10 or 12 things that are just good titles, and I just can't find anything to write about them after that. So it's kind of funny. I don't know how to get to that point, but I probably will somehow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's how about like time of day? Are you like a morning guy? You're not a morning guy, but is there a special time of day, afternoon, evening, weekend, Sundays, that you find you're in a best spot for writing? Like it just feels like the right time?
Yeah, I would say the afternoons on weekends for some reason. I
Yeah.
don't know why. And weeknights, I would say after 11 p.m. I would say, and I don't know why. There's something about like a Saturday afternoon that has a different feeling to it
Right.
than the other days. The days all kind of have their own personalities, and Saturday afternoon, for me at least, has this creative vibe to it, where it's completely shut down on Sunday. I think it's like almost like a collective thing. Like most people, Saturday's a positive day because they're usually having fun or they're off.
Yeah.
Things like Sunday night is dreadful for me, even though I don't have anything the next
Is
day.
it really? That's built in from school.
Yeah,
It
is.
is.
It's Sunday. I just can't. Something about Sunday night, about the way the world just seems to shut down.
Yeah.
Everything closes early. Some things aren't even open at all.
Yeah.
It's depressing to me that
And
that
you
it's
don't
like that.
gig on Sunday nights in most cases.
Very rarely. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes a Sunday afternoon, but a Sunday night almost never, because there's no one out.
So let me ask
Almost.
you this. If you gig on a Sunday afternoon, do you have a better Sunday night experience, do you think?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
absolutely.
that's carried over from school, because I was the same way. It's like, oh my God, I'm dreading. I got to go to that school tomorrow and go through this horror hell again.
It was the price for Friday night was Sunday night. That's what it was. It's
Yeah.
like you got Friday night was the best, and because you had 2 whole days ahead of you. Then suddenly it's Sunday morning and it's Sunday afternoon, and yeah, you're right. It's built into us. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, it's pounded into us, because I have a whole thing about clocks, and it's like the people who designed schools were insane, because you used to sit there. I was in Catholic school, and you'd be facing this huge clock up on the front of the room, and I'd be like, tick, 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 and you're like, I got to be in here for another how many hours? And
At least,
it's
at
this-
least you could look at it without having them see you look at it. Because when in my school, there was on the side.
on the
I'd have,
side, right? Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
and
I think in some cases it probably was, or in the back, but it was like, it was torturous to
Yeah.
have to put that in in a school but you don't want to know
Yeah.
the time, because
Oh,
hopefully
yeah.
you'll escape that pain.
Yeah, and you play the time game. You say, okay, I'm not going to look at the clock until after I finish this paper. And you look
Yeah.
at it, and it's like 4 minutes have gone by,
Yeah,
and you're like, I'm not going to make it. Another
it's
hour,
so
I
painful.
can't, not going to make it. Now, you
Yeah.
literally thought times I wasn't going to make it.
and the
I don't-
detentions were like that too, because they wouldn't let you do it. You weren't really allowed to do much at all. I don't even think they let me do homework in detention. So that was
Oh,
like,
yeah. That's funny. They have you there, and they won't let you do it.
that was too painful. Hey, let me ask you, what places do you like to play the best, as far as, big theaters, small intimate groups? Is there a favorite spot that you like to perform at, that you feel like you're providing the best value, and you're getting the most people like to really, really tune in to the zone of your music?
Yeah, any show where it's ticketed because people that pay to come see you or me and other people who are playing, they actually listen.
Right.
And you know, if you're playing in a bar or a ski resort or a winery, maybe some people are surely listening, but not everyone is. But when you play a place like the Puck in Doylestown, I'm not sure you know that place.
No, I've heard of it, but I don't know it.
Okay, it's a ticketed seated type venue with a big stage and a real sound system.
Right.
And I played there a bunch of times with David Ivory, who is a producer up here in up near Philly, and do showcases, and people pay to line up out the door, and they come in, they sit there and actually listen to you, and nobody talks in between, you know, during the song. Not that you can't do that, but you know what I mean. Like it's you have their attention, and it's a much different dynamic than playing in a bar where most of them don't know you, or half of them don't know you, or half of them don't care, or you know, they're there for the beer, not for the music, you know.
Well, I've been talking a lot about that on this show, that very experience of and I don't have the answer, but you just gave me part of it, and it's like, you know, I'm relocating to Nashville. Like, I'm back and forth a lot, but I'm actually setting up living quarters now there in the next couple of weeks. But you go downtown and you see, like, it's you're playing in these bars, which I don't, for my music, that doesn't work. For some people, you just have to have a Marshall stack and a Les Paul and crank the hell out of it to get. And even then, people are watching the game. They're surrounded by TVs. They're texting. They're on their phone. They're yelling and screaming to their friends and doing shots. So music is almost like the very, very back of the train. It's the caboose. Mm-hmm. You know, instead of like it used to be, you came to really enjoy the music. So I'm just saying it, you know, rhetorically to raise awareness about it, because I feel as musicians who have seen their currency of their music be, you know, just almost destroyed, we have to figure out a way to, like, where's the right place to play, you know, especially if you put a lot of emphasis on, look, we're not a jam band, because there's a lot of emphasis on lyrics and poetry, and there's a message in the music. So, you know, that's a different thing. If you're doing a jam band, you can kind of get away with that, you know, but I don't know, it's just something I raised, but I'm glad to hear about a place like that there are places like that, because you're right, because if people are going to pay for something, they honor it much more usually.
Right,
you know?
Exactly. They place so much more value on what's going on at the time, when they walk into a bar for free and drink. You know, half of them don't pay attention.
Yeah.
But I'm used to that. You know, it's no big deal.
Right. So looking out the rest of the year, as we're getting ready to wrap up here, Jordan, what can you share with people that you have on your mind that you'd like to express, some ideas to them? And also, we'll put all your links in the show notes, but if you could just give like the one address that you would like people to go to help support you, your music, and purchase your music, if you could do that also.
Sure. If you go to, Spotify, Apple, iTunes, any of those type of music retailers, just search my name and you get the albums, High Road, or the older one, Maybe Amy.
Okay.
Any of those. That's probably the best spot. Or just my website. It's just jordanwhitemusic.com.
Great.
And, and I'm on, you know, Instagram and, so, you know, all that stuff, Facebook. So
excellent.
They can find me there too.
We'll put all those links in the show notes. And by the way, that reference for Matt O'Ree was DE-125, and he featured the song Black Boots, really? Which was with Bruce. It's a killer song. You'll probably really enjoy it. But I'll put it in the link so people can tune in who are Bruce fans, and who may be Matt fans, because the three of us are from New Jersey, or the four of us if we include Bruce in that too. So just in saying goodbye, anything you would like to impart to listeners and fans of Jordan White, any words of wisdom or any parting thoughts or anything you'd like to express to the people tuning into this show around the world?
I would say, don't give up. That's really the best thing that I think most people can hear, is because there are people out there that'll be listening to this that are on that cusp of giving up or not, and, you know, settling. But you don't have to do that, is what I would like to know, is that if you really work hard enough and you want it bad enough and you go out there and go get it, you can do it. because I started with, I didn't have anyone in the music industry. I didn't know anybody. No, not a soul. Some people have their uncle's a record producer or something. I didn't have anything like that. So,
Right.
but if I can do it, they can, is what I'm saying. But for whatever, if they want to be a doctor or an astronaut or, just have a good job.
And by the way, I really appreciate that. And I also want to mention a thank you on behalf of all that you do for others, doing fundraisers, and you're doing a show on July 20th, a benefit, right, for the
Yep.
Hub US Corp at Harrisburg Mall to benefit the Shriners Hospital for Children. And you're opening for Amy McAllister and Howie Dameron. Is that how you pronounce Howie's? Is it?
I believe so.
Dameron?
Yes.
Okay, and that's I know that's not the first thing you've done as far as fundraising and helping others in just going out there and putting your music out there to support and help other causes. So on behalf of all that you have done, thank you very much for that. And by the way, if the folks who don't know this, Jordan is also signed to Pangea Records. And Kelly Jo Farner, thanks once again for managing Jordan and getting him to the dHarmic Evolution. So Jordan, thank you so much for being a part of the dHarmic Evolution. Really appreciate it. It's always a pleasure to have you on, listen to your music, and your stories are really fabulous. And just want to wish all God's blessings on you and your journey.
You. Same for you. Thank you. Thanks for having me, dude.
High Road. Like the rain. September. And coming round again. These are the songs and stories of Jordan White. Support his new EP that's out there called High Road. It's on all the major retails. And just check out Jordan White Music. And you'll find out all about this young man who's always playing out everywhere, especially in the Philadelphia area and New Jersey area. So I had a great time visiting once again, and check out his first show, DE49. And as he mentioned, any Bruce fans out there, check out Matt O'Ree's broadcast that I did with him. It's DE125 if you want a really cool story about actually being a songwriter and bringing Bruce into the studio to sing and perform and play on your song. This actually happened to Matt. Really incredibly fun interview on that one as well. So if you guys haven't yet, go over to the dHarmic Evolution Facebook community page and post your content, whether you got a song or a new video or a photo shoot or a gig. Anything at all that is about your music, or if you're an author, speaker, or thought leader, put your content up there, a new book, maybe you're doing a speaking engagement somewhere. Please post your talents, your creativity, your artistry on that site so people around the world can continue to support you and learn about you. Also, we did a facelift on the dHarmic Evolution website. Go over there. All the different players are on there. We're on Spotify and Overcast and iTunes and all of the goodies. And if you would leave us a review about this show and you're digging it, that would really help. And the good reviews, I am going to post the good ones on our website as well. And thank you, everybody that has done that so far. Hey, that's it for me today. It's a wrap. I'm your host for the dHarmic Evolution, James Kevin O'Connor, singer-songwriter, audio-video artist, master storyteller, and international talent agent. So until the next time, when we meet again, I'll either see you on the socials or I'll see you from the stage.